Hello and welcome. This is Stonewarden, back with episode 3 of our Let's Play Final Fantasy XI series. It's great to see you. In between episodes, I was able to level Thief from 1 to 23, and then upgraded a little bit of gear from what we could get from the Sparks vendor. Of course, no neck piece, ear, waist, or back yet. Don't really have the guild to maximize our gear at the moment, but since this is a race to 99, what we're going to do is just sort of skip by, let our trust help us level, and do what we can do there. So on that front, the guild situation's a little horrendous, but one of the things we can do is as we make sparks, which again, we get sparks and unity accolades from completing these Records of Eminence quests. So some of them are limited time challenges like this Vanquish Vermin, some of them are repeatable challenges like this Vanquish Multiple Enemies, and some of them are just one time, so like the total damage and weapon skills and these others. So as we complete these Records of Eminence objectives, we'll get these sparks, and we can use sparks to get gear. Now, the neat thing there is that, as we can see, I have an extra 9,000 sparks after upgrading gear. And what we can do is, if we come into the sparks vendor, go to the 71 to 98 subheading, and then go down to, I think it's the second or third page. There it is. The Acheron shield is 2755 sparks, and that means we should be able to get 2 or 3 of these. And I don't want to use up all my sparks, so I'm just going to grab 2 for the moment. So again, we have 5500 gil. And then we just walk over here to this NPC and sell those 2 shields. And those are, to the NPC, worth 26,930 gil each. So we just went from 5 to almost 60,000 gil, which is fantastic. So again, that's a great way early game to just get something in our pockets and start to build that up. So 60,000 gil is by no means a lot, but as we get to the place where we can get those sparks faster and faster as our levels get higher, then that adds up. So, and there are other ways to make gil, but that's just the quickest and easiest for a brand new fresh character. So what's on tap for today? Couple of things. Since we're over level 20 now, I want to go and get a mount. Travel is a big deal in Final Fantasy XI. It was always meant to be a burden to get from one place to the next, and used to spend a lot of game time just getting from where you are to where you want to be to do what you wanted to do next. So it was not uncommon to spend 30 or 45 minutes just getting to an experience points camp. So they sort of made that easier on us a few years ago when they added mounts. Chocobos have been in the game for a while, and these are the big birds that you can rent from a vendor and you can ride, but once you get off of them, they go away. There is also a way to raise chocobos and have a whistle, but again, that was really replaced by mounts that were added a few years ago. And in the way we do that is you go to abilities and then go down to mounts, and if you're in the field, you'll just hop on a mount and ride that. The only thing to keep in mind is the cooldown. So there's like a 30 or 60 second cooldown, and so you can't just hop on or off in rapid succession. So, but mounts, you travel fast, and also you're unattackable. So you can even ride past higher level mobs and not have to worry about being killed by them. So we want to get that ASAP so that we can travel around, get to the rest of the world, and start getting around to do these missions and other things. Also, we want to be able to travel to some of the better experience points camp. So how do we get our Chocobo license and do the mount quest? Those things are in Jeuno. Used to be that you would have to go through a number of zones to get all the way to Jeuno, which is here. And along the way, of course, you would be running past aggressive monsters that are at or above your level. So it was always fun to try to make it to Jeuno without dying. And if you did, just having to start over and try it again. Since they added the Unity, we can actually make that easier. So we can go to the Unity NPC, bring me to a wanted encounter area, and if we go to, I believe it's 125, that will take us. Battaglia Downs and Rolandberry Fields are basically right next to Jeuno, so we don't have to do any of that walking. What I'm going to do first, however, is I'm going to make a stop over in Merifetad Mountains. The reason for that is that the Chocobo quest requires 4 Gausebit Grass, and on the auction house that's pretty expensive. People don't farm it much, and then they sell it for high amounts of gil on the auction house because they know that new players are gonna pay for it. But we are not. I'm going to shoot over to the mountains and farm that off of the crane flies there. We should not have any issues with that, and it actually should go pretty quick because we have Thief. So we'll see. I'm going to teleport over to Merifetad Mountains, and it costs 100 accolades to do that. The teleport brings us in near the zone line, and then we'll have to find our way over to where the crane flies are. And quick update, I mentioned in the last episode that I was going to hold off on Rhapsodies of Vana'diel Progress, that I was going to wait and not do Mission 1.5 or 1.6, which are basically just cutscenes in Norg. I decided after reading to go ahead and do those because completing 1-6 gave a bonus of 30% to experience points, 100% bonus to skill point gains, an 80% reduction in the cost of home points and other things. So the bonuses were just too great. So I went ahead and watched those 2 cutscenes. Did that over on Twitch and got the Rhapsodies in white key item, I believe. So, weren't any spoilers there. We ended up meeting one of the characters for Rhapsodies of Vana'diel, Iroha, and that was about it. So, went ahead and got that, felt pretty good about it, and that's what's helped us level Thief to 23 so quickly. So. Keep in mind, the Gausebit Grass that we're after drops from crane flies only. So those mobs spawn in 2 areas in the zone. One is over here near the outpost, and the other is in that direction over there near Castle Ostrosia. Also near the castle are some other aggressive mobs, and just to make life easy, we're going to stick to the outpost over here. Also near the outpost should be a survival guide, so that way if we want to warp back to town and use the Unity NPC to warp back to Jeuno, that's just going to make things nice and clean and quick for us. So. And there's our first clump of Gausebit wildgrass. So at level 15, Thief gets a trait called Treasure Hunter, which makes it easier to obtain treasure. There's a big long discussion about how Treasure Hunter works, about how drops work, so I'm going to skip that for now, but just know that we're making it a little bit easier on ourselves by leveling Thief, and these types of objectives where we need to farm some items are going to go a lot quicker because we have Treasure Hunter to do it. So Sneak Attack is an ability that Thief gets, and when performing an attack or a weapon skill from directly behind the enemy, it guarantees this massive critical hit, and also increases the chance of increasing the Treasure Hunter level on that particular mob. So always nice to get in a Sneak Attack critical hit if we can do so. And we have 2 grass already. There's our third grass. And there's our fourth grass. Awesome. That did not take long at all. Thank you, Treasure Hunter. So, fantastic. Alright, let's head back to Sandoria. For free. Free 99, that's the right price for me. Okay, so back in Sandoria, gonna talk to the Unity NPC once again and see if she will send us to Battalion Downs for another 100 accolades. The Unity warp brings us in right here behind this wall, and there's Jeuno right here behind us. So all of the mobs for Battalion Downs are on the other side of that wall, and we don't have to worry about them whatsoever. So that is a nice handy dandy life hack to get warped up here and not have to walk all the way across all of those zones. So there's Jeuno off in the distance again, and we're going to head on in and see if we can get our Chocobo license. Zoning into Jeuno from Battalion Downs, we'll notice a couple of things. One, there's a home point right here by the exit, so we want to go ahead and grab that. Register new home point. Next up, there's a shop over here to the left, M&P's Market. I assume that M&P stands for something, but there are no M or P's that work here, so I don't know. This fella here will sell us maps. And what we want to do is go ahead and grab all of these now that we have a little bit of gil. And we don't have enough money for all of these yet, but we'll be going to some of these places. So in the towns, one of the things you'll usually notice is this sign with the big yellow bird on it. That's supposed to be the Chocobo sign. And what happens is you go to the Chocobo stables and talk to one of these NPCs who, once you have a license, will let you rent these, and they will spit you out into that particular zone that borders this zone, and you can ride the Chocobo until you get off, and then that's it. However, to start, what we want to do is come over here and talk to this gentleman named Brutus, and this will flag a couple of quests for us. Number one, the Chocobo's Wounds, which will allow us to get our license, and then another one that allows us to raise Chocobos, called Chocobo on the Loose. So that was for Chocobo on the Loose, that cutscene, and now he's asking, do I want to ride a Chocobo? So you have to talk to Brutus a couple times to get all of these quests flagged. So then you come over here to this Chocobo, and the little NPC says he's afraid. So then what you do is you trade one of the grass to it, and you'll get a little note that says, hey, he still looks scared of you. They won't eat anything until they're comfortable. And this has a time gate on it. So what that means is that you have to wait until the next day, the next Vanadil day, not Earth Day, but the next Vanadil day, to trade again. Although I'm not 100% sure about that. Sometimes with these quests you have to change zones before they let you go to the next part. And since we're really close to the end of the day, 2000 hours down there, let me zone quickly as quickly as possible, and then we'll see if I can get some progress on that. Yep, and it's a crystalline prophecy. And the thought that I had with some of those add-ons, which show up here in your mission log, Shantoto, Amugo Kupo d'Etat, and Crystalline Prophecy is maybe just doing an episode for each of those once I get to level 99, and just dedicating an entire episode to getting each one of those done. But we'll see. Alright, let's talk to the bird. And let's try to trade. Okay, so they are supposed to reject the first two trades and then accept the third. So when you see these little floating devices and the NPCs next to them, they're scattered all throughout the world, really. But when you talk to them, they will ask if you want to render aid to the sacred city of Adullin. Of course, we'll get there eventually, and they'll give you a key item that will allow you to attune yourself to these little waypoints. So once we hit the proto waypoint, it will allow us to teleport to the others that we have unlocked and attuned to, assuming we have points. So we'll get into Seekers of Adullin later and go into more detail then at that point. Okay, I have zoned, which means I've changed from one zone to the next, but I have not waited a full Vanadil day. Let's see if he'll take the grass. He does. Alright, try to trade right after the cutscene. He took that one as well. Let's try to trade again. Oh. And one more. Oh, he's not hungry. Let me try to zone again. It used to be, if I remember correctly, this quest, between every trade you had to wait until the next Vanadil day, which is approximately an hour, maybe 45 to 55 minutes. So they've sped it up a little bit, which is nice. But let's zone again and see if we can get that last trade done and get that license. Let's see if he'll take this last grass. And he does. Wonderful. Alright, so we've obtained the Chocobo license. And now that I read the description on BG Wiki, it says you can feed the Chocobo once every 45 seconds in real life. So maybe I was zoning unnecessarily. If so, that's highly embarrassing. So wait a minute in between trades. But what happens is the bird rejects the first 2 trades and then will accept the next 4. So then you got your Chocobo license. Next, what we want to do is to unlock mounts. You need the Chocobo license first. You also have to have the map of Jeuno. And then after that, we talk to this NPC here, Mappy Toto. Alright, that is terrifying. So, after the cutscene, there is this little game or training, and basically the idea is you have to travel to the points on the map, go through the Pillar of Light, and you just have to also feed it along the way. So, we'll see when we get into it. So they want us to hit 5 of these gates, and like I said, we're going to need food to keep the mount going along the way. This is just for the game. You do not have to feed the mount. Do not have to feed mounts after this little mini game. This is just for the quest to unlock mounts. Alright, so you know it's slowing down, so what we can do is type cheer to give it a little bit more motivation, and that should speed it back up. There we go. Alright. And here should be stash of food number 2. Alright, so 2 out of 5. Okay. Where's the next one? Just slightly northwest of here. Give him a cheer. And hopefully we can make it to the food. This can be a little frustrating. Come on, buddy, you can get it. Get to the next one, north of here. There it is. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Just stick with me. We'll make it. Alright. Alright, now we have to make it to the NPC. Should be right around this corner. So yeah, I take the most direct path right across the middle of the zone. I guess it's possible to get all of the food, but you only need 5, and I just wanted to take the most direct and fastest route. And there we go. Okay, so quest is still not done. You do get warped back to the gate there, but we still have to run over here to the NPC for the reward for the quest. Alright. And you see we got the key item there, Raptor Companion. And so in our mount list there is now a Raptor, which means if we use that command, or if we create a macro that will use that command, and we're out in the field, then we'll saddle up a Raptor and ride. So that is fantastic. Now, last item of business for today is heading to the next zone where we'll be doing our leveling. And that's going to be Qufim Island. I'm sticking with it. That's how I've always pronounced it in my head. Again, because this is a text-based game, I guess you're just kind of guessing at a lot of this stuff. But, the way you get there is you just keep going down the steps. Brings you to Lower Jeuno. And keep going down the steps brings us to Port Jeuno. And Port Jeuno has more stairs. Keep going down those. And there's like this little back door, basement door, whatever you want to call it. And it takes you down to this new zone. We'll be down here talking to some of these NPCs in future episodes. But for now, zone right through here. And this is a great zone to get from really early 20s to, maybe mid 30s. But also on the back side of this is Delkfoot's Tower. And Delkfoot's Tower has some higher level mobs, also some home points that we can get. And since it's a zone that is used in some of the other missions that we'll do, it's nice to sort of run in here and grab some of those home points and books and other things, so that when we come back to do the missions, we can just travel. For the most part, by the time you're in your early 20s, with a party of trust, we should be pretty good here. Can certainly come here earlier. It used to be, a level 19, 20 to 24 party spot. So these worms are aggressive as well, I think. Yep. So, and the way worms work is that they will hit you if you are nearby, but if you are not, they will cast spells on you. So it's almost better to just deal with them up close than have them bombing spells on you from across the zone. There are a couple ways to get where we're going. We could go that direction, or we could go this direction. I'm going to head this direction just because there's a home point over here that we can grab while we're down here. Oh, and I completely forgot about the Gygus. So that big green guy in the background is a Gygus, and you don't see them many other places other than here and Delkfoot's Tower, a couple of other places maybe, but they are aggressive to sight. So if they see you, they will chase you. Still should be able to handle them at this level, but they will also throw rocks, and so it's kind of annoying to have them chasing you and throwing rocks if you're trying desperately to get away. So just be careful of Gygus. They do aggro you via sight. And here's the home point. And if we head north of here, we'll come up to Delkfoot's Tower. This is the entrance to Delkfoot's Tower here. Right outside is a survival guide, as well as a field manual. That way you can adjust your pages or get buffs. Fair warning, don't say I didn't tell you. The first time you zone into Delkfoot's Tower, there is a rather long, exciting, but rather long cutscene that starts the Chains of Promethea expansion pack. So, because I don't have the time and we want to keep this episode to a reasonable length, I'm not going to run in there now and start that cutscene. I'll probably stream that over on Twitch. I think that makes more sense. So, basically, from here, early mid-20s, come over here to Delkfoot's Tower, grab the Clippers and Pugils page, and basically your crabs are here, and your fish, which are the Pugils, are over here. And of course, just sort of avoid these giants in the meantime. So this is a great place to level. You can actually continue east, and there's a little valley sort of carved out in the rock over there that takes you over to another section. Another great place to level. It's probably still pretty popular. Again, the only other thing to keep in mind is that at night, so after 2000 hours, there will be undead sort of walking around some of these places. So just be aware. And yeah, this is a great place to level. So again, I'm probably going to be taking Thief to maybe 35 or 40 here. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably kick it off with the cutscene on the inside of Delkfoot's Tower, and we'll have a great time. Thank you so much for joining. Glad you were here. Really enjoyed having you along the trip. Now you know how to get your Chocobo, how to get your mount, and we're going to be getting around a lot faster now. So this is Stonewarden Gaming signing off. See ya.